So, Saturday, you know, celebrating the weekend after a good week of work. And, during the week, and anywhere I go, if anybody asks me about education and, going back to school, I'm always willing to talk as long as anybody's willing to listen and give you any advice that I can think of that will help you out in your own situation. I actually spoke to a young lady who was, not too long out of high school, but was thinking about going back to school. And I gave her the same advice that I've been putting into these videos to get online. Once again, I'll drop Khan Academy because it helped me. And just kind of go over basic math skills, basic reading skills, basic writing skills, get ready for that placement test. And, a few days later, she came back and she said that was really good advice, that she was surprised how much she had forgotten. And just that little bit of, sitting down and just kind of going over those basic things, just brought to her attention the fact that you lose a lot of knowledge, even 1, 2, 3, 4 years out of high school. You've been in the workforce and you kind of get locked into doing the same thing day in and day out, and you become more of a robot, than a person that has, intellectual feelings and thoughts and the ability to process information. You just kind of get locked into that, that repetitive motion of coming in, doing your job, going home. And, for me, that was good enough for a while, but, life changes. And when life changes on you and you get put into a position where you don't feel like you have control over your life, that's what, triggered me to think there's got to be more out there. So that's just to touch on the importance of just getting yourself ready for school. Because like I said before, you can get a good enough placement test score. You can wind up skipping a couple of classes, and a couple of classes is a year, You're talking about a fall and a spring semester, That's a big chunk of time. You really don't want to waste that time. You're trying to get somewhere, You're trying to get to this place that I'm at, where I got time to sit back and trade stories and enjoy little things. But let's keep moving on. So the next thing that she was telling me was about the counselors, and no disrespect to any school counselors of any type, but the feelings that I have about counselors is that they are usually, if you look at them and their names in the end of them, there's usually a business degree attached to it. And it's kind of what I feel is a huge amount of their time is placed on the business of education. The business of educating people is very important, and it runs both ways. Sometimes it's a sales pitch, but a lot of times it really has to be more about the person. And that's probably why you may have clicked on these videos, is you may have gotten the business part of it, but what about the personal side of it? How do you make this decision? Because once you lock in and you start going, you really need to stick to it. Even if you get halfway through and find out that this might not be exactly what you wanted to do, it's important to stick through it. Because you start switching and changing things up and deciding you want to go left for a while, and then all of a sudden you want to hard stop and go right for a while, you'll be in school for a long time. And that's not what you want to do. I did that. Trust me, you don't want to be in school for a long time. Um, so when you go and you talk to your counselor and you get your course curriculum, and you're going to do things on your side, like look at these classes, look at the amount of credits that you're going to get for a class. Check the notes, check the prerequisites, the requisites, all those words that mean what you need to do in order to get to the place you're going to. Check all that out. And just remember that you are one person, but your counselor may be dealing with 50, 75, 100 different people. And when you start getting into, large amounts of caseload, kind of like a public defender, when you can't put enough effort into each one of those people to satisfy all those needs. And that's why, what I told that, the person that I was talking to is you have to stay on top of things. You have to ask people questions, even when you feel like your question might be a dumb question. Get that dumb question out. Let it fly. Get it into the air and let it be in the past and move on, because that smart question might be in line behind that dumb question. And the sooner you can get to that smart question and you can start to get the answers that you really need, the better off you're going to be. Now, you can't just put it all on the counselor. You got to do your research. You got to take a look at that list. You got to take a look at your degree and be honest with yourself and the time it's going to take and where you are academically, where you are financially if you cannot get loans to pay through it, and where you are time-wise. Do you have the time to dedicate for a full load, or will you be going to school part-time? All very important questions. Get your questions together and make sure you're ready when you talk to your counselor. For me, I just felt like, when I decided to go back to school, when I got really serious about it, kind of felt like I was not in control of my life anymore. I think that's probably a good way to put it. I would come into work at a time that I was just, not good with. There was times when we were coming in at 4 in the morning, which means that I had to get up at like 3 something in the morning. That accompanied with the fact that, I couldn't say that the money wasn't, good, but, going to sleep at 7 o'clock in the evening so you could get up at 3 in the morning, it just didn't sit well with me. I felt like I was not in control of my own life. And a lot of times I talk to people, they'll tell you that they're tired. They're not physically tired. It's always, a mental or an emotional drain that the job places on them. You always come up and they say, I'm tired of this and I'm tired of that, Overtime one week, you're laid off the next week. Ups and downs. You can't count on your job to be there for you, yet they demand that you show up for them. And the older you get, the more important it is. It might not be that important to you while you're young, and you don't have people dependent on you to be there, to be present. You go to, your kids' functions, and there you are in the back dozing off, nodding. Something happens, you wake up, oh, what happened? The kid comes up to you at the end of the game or the show or the recital and says, did you see me do this? And you go, yeah. You didn't see anything. You woke up and saw the reaction, something happened, but you weren't able to be there. And so people get tired of that, and you're looking for a way out. I see it all the time when I'm watching YouTube videos. There's always some guy with stacks of money saying that he's got a new way, or buy my program and do this. Don't do that yet. You need to get a secure base, uh, a foundation of which your life lays on, and education is the way. Some people say that they can't go back to school, or school is stupid, or something like that. You can go. Anybody can do it. Even if you have a learning disability, you can go back to school. Trust me. I have a poster, Muhammad Ali poster, that says that the will has to be greater than the skill. There's other sayings like hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Those sayings are basically saying that even if you don't have that magic, that is expected, hard work will replace any talent, skill, ability. Hard work. Work is not so hard when it's bringing you to a place that you're trying to get to. All right. So let's leave that and let's move on to the next topic. What are you going to do? What's your next step? You're in a bad place right now. Do you see where you want to go? If you don't see where you want to go, I would suggest that you check out the future job trends. I'm going to try to put something in the description. The government has a good site that tells you the trending need in the workforce for the future. This is a really good place to go. Right now, it's June of 21, and politics is politics, but the infrastructure in America is really, really hurting. And so we need people that are trained in the infrastructure skills. You talk about civil engineers, road construction, bridge construction, water. Think about Flint, Michigan. Water systems, surveying. You need people that are going to get out there and going to do these jobs. These are good paying jobs. These jobs can give you a sense of satisfaction. You can look around at your country and say, look, I was a part of that. That's what we're missing right now, being a part of something. A lot of people feel like they've been left out, left behind. You look back at the housing crisis and the financial meltdowns that we have, and all the protests that you saw after that was just people saying, why has my job been devalued to this point where I don't make a living wage? You can either sit back and be a victim of somebody else's actions, or you can do what it is that I've done and what I think you're trying to do, and that's take control of your future, get your education, strengthen your mind. Your body will fail you, but your mind and what you can take that with you. So once again, it's just a quick Saturday chat, talking to you. You got to stay strong. Get yourself into the process. Stay on top of the counselors. Look into the future trends. Make sure that you're getting yourself involved into a program that's going to be there for you when you're ready. Not what's going on now. School is not a microwave. You're not going to pop in for, a semester or two and come out ready to hit the workforce. You're developing into this new person. You do have to grow and develop as you educate yourself. It's a huge portion of the next transition is going to be people who are able to work through entire processes on their own without having somebody stand over them. You think about all of the jobs that are now off-site where you're going to work from home, and you just think about the distractions that you have at home and what you're going to be expected to do. You're going to be expected to sit down and focus for 4, 5, 6 straight hours. And if you can't stay off your phone, off of whatever the distractions of the future are, the TV, the kids, the dog, the wife, you're going to be let go. You're going to be let go in your underwear and a robe, on your computer, by somebody that just doesn't care. You know what I mean? You're not going to be face to face. People say crazy things when they're online. And that's going to be the reality of the future, and you're going to need to be able to be prepared for that. So, I'm going to sit back and enjoy the rest of this Saturday. Let the day fade into the night. Just enjoy life.